again. Welcome to Airbrush Down Dirty Tricks, everyone. Sorry about that. My mic was off. I think we're on now. Might be a little loud. Let's go down a little bit. Welcome to Thursday night's Airbrush Down Dirty Tricks. Hope everyone's having a great Halloween Eve. And we're going to do a fun feed tonight. Last minute thoughts. And I think we should have audio now. So I'm going to give it a second and see if everything's catching up. I think we're good now. There we go. Yep. Good. All right. Let's see what we got going on. See what we got in the house tonight here. Amos Mendez, Brian Moore, Ray Shea, Gary Shees, Robert, Miguel, welcome. Who else we got in here tonight? We scroll down, see if I missed anyone. If I did, I'm sorry. And if you haven't said hi, say hi. Bobby Sylvia, what's going on? Chris Garcia, congrats on getting into see my man. Looking forward to seeing you there next week. I didn't get asked to lift King. Munch. I have to give Munch a buzz on that one. No, it's awesome, man. Looking forward to seeing you next week. Mike McClung, what's happening? Who else we got here? Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. You're already subscribed, so you're all fine. But share it. Get more people over here. Let's keep this channel rolling. And Ton Wilbur, what's going on? Good to see you. So, thank you, Gary, for this suggestion. I had some suggestions going up here. Gary had one. Someone else said Pennywise too, and I forget the top of my head. So that was definitely the win. And from the time you suggested it, I sketched it, came up with it, even did a simple vector stencil that you guys can screenshot, and in the description, or I actually put it in the comments post, you could just actually screenshot. There you go, screenshot that, print it, cut it out, you can follow along. I'm probably going to do a paper transfer, but we'll see. I figure we'll keep it simple and easy. Yeah, let's see what we got. Who else we got here? Hope everyone's having a good week. House is ready for Halloween. I got my SEMA project done. Thankfully, that was outstanding. Oh, put the glass coat of clear on tonight. I think I have enough to buff it. I'm going to wet sand it tomorrow and see if I think it's flat enough. No, I'm going to maybe put a round of House of Color Rocket Clear and do a final cut, and then I'll buff it over the weekend and bring it Monday. So, yeah, it was a cool project. And I got my schedule for Iwata. That's all set. I'll post that up later. I tried to get it done tonight, but didn't have it ready to go. But yeah, it's going to be a good time. It's going to be a good show. And yeah, Bobby Silva, what's going on? All right. Let's switch out here to the camera and see what we got. All right. So if you remember last week with the Jack feed, and I don't have it in front of me, I had these cool frames, and so I had this other one. So we did the Jack Skellington last week in this one. This week, I was going to do Sally. Just I didn't like anything by itself, so I think this will be just as cool or cooler to have in there. And I gave it my little scullification touch, so it's a little different. And I'll just show you a quick breakdown. Like, this is going to be like at 5:30, I got back. I had to go out and get some sweatshirts and stuff, and I got back here at 5, had dinner, had no idea what I was going to do, put up a post, and we came up with this. So we're going to work this in real time. You're going to see how I'd go about it. All I did was I found a really cool picture of Pennywise, and I did a pencil sketch overlay. I used my like Procreate, or actually Sketchbook Pro. And I just brought in the picture and then just did a quick sketch and kind of cartoonized, and then just, transition from like the mouth and kind of the skull. And you see a little bit of the jaw here, skull eye on this side, a little bit of the nasal passages, but we're keeping the tip of the nose red, and we'll keep the makeup, and maybe you'll see a little hint of the skull like socket on this side, but I'm mainly going to keep it to this side. And yeah, it'll be just kind of fun and cool and simple. But so I have a black panel here, and the black panel wasn't really the plan for this, because this would be a lot easier on a white panel, because I could just do my normal transfer and put it in. But how do we do it here? There's a couple ways to approach this. And I think I might do it a little different than what I normally would do. Just going to clean this with isopropyl alcohol. This is an aluminum panel that's been cut to fit. Yeah, the frames look good. These, I found them on Amazon. They were pretty cheap. You know, it's just, it makes a cool, it makes something that's, you know, if you got that, it's meh. But that and that, now that's cool. You know, that's cool. Well, if you can stay awake, stay awake. If not, you can catch it on the rebound, Paul. And we got a lot of down dirty tricksters in the house tonight. Let me give all you guys a shout out. Thank you for everyone popping in. I didn't do a new one today. I didn't have time. I usually try to do it before every feed. So if anyone who signed up from last Thursday and now, I apologize. I'll have you on next the next feed after SEMA. But thank you all for the support. And don't forget, you get that 25% off everything in the store. That. All right. So you see me do this before. We could do the normal transfer where I transfer everything here and then airbrush and shade it, okay? And I paint with the light. And if you're on a white surface, you can just transfer on the white and then do all the darks, which is more familiar to some people. So I'm going to do what I see. I don't do this very often. Alan Pastrana does this a lot, and I know I've seen Javier, and I see a lot of guys start this when they're on a dark color surface. So I'm going to do it as well, which is I'm going to take white. I have an opaque white here. Sometimes they take like an opaque gray. And actually, you know what? I'm going to make it just a little gray. I'm going to take it. I'm going to put a little black and white together. Very subtle amount. This is an opaque white, and I just put a few drops of black in it. So it's just very simple gray. And you'll see a lot of times they'll just do a nice simple fog where the image is going to be, and they'll have this like soft border that goes out that they can play with later as opposed to a hard edge. So I'm going to do that. This is great if you want to put texture and stuff in too. So it's just an easy, subtle transfer of, you know, like a gray. Lightly put it in. And I don't have to go like full off to the side. Just nice and simple. I'm going to let that dry for a sec. See, water-based dries just fine. That's real time, no BS. Okay, see, I'm already hitting it, scuffing on it, fine. The reason why most people have trouble with water-based drying too slow is they put it on too wet too fast. Nice, medium wet application, air dry. And there you go. You can even, I don't have one. Oh, I do. And then you take a tack rag, just get any excess off. All right, and then what I've done, and I've done this a million times, and I took my 6B pencil, did the whole back with it, and then just did the whole, get it really soft, basically make my own transfer paper, like charcoal, but you can use Sorel or things like that. And I say it all the time, I don't personally like Sorel with those papers. I think they leave too much residue, so I find a better result with this. No, and I don't have a reference image posted up. But I'll keep this off to the side. It'll be just as easy to see. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, and this is I may or may not. I'm going to try. Maybe I'll cut this out so you guys can utilize it as well. I'll have this stencil that I made up that'll match up with this print. But let's get the image transferred first. Always fine, leave a pen. Use a pen works the best. And if you got a freehand, this is the best way to do it. Without the stencil, is just transfer the image. You have something to go by. You can see that nice image. And transfer is nice and easy. Just go around, just hit all your marks. We get a lot of heavy rain tonight. No wind, so the feed should be stable. So I did a little, this is like the skull is a little more rigid here, and then it's soft on this side because that's going to be more face, but this side will have the more bony protrusions like you're seeing in the skull more. Like I said, this is the best, most efficient, easy way to transfer an image to your surface. Go around, do all your transfers, hit all your lines, think. Try to remember where you go when your pen dies. So this side you're seeing some teeth. This side is a normal mouth. The only thing about the stencil is, you know, you don't really have the definition of where these teeth are as much, but you can kind of figure it out. Okay, I think I got everything. Let's see. Good there. We're just going to fold on one side. Yep, yep. Get the whole ear. Tater salad? What's going on? And there you go. So now you can see that nice transfer. Oh, the only thing I didn't get, and that's fine, I didn't get right here in the top of the nose, but I don't think I'm gonna. Yeah, I'll go for it. Just boop like that. That's all. So now you get the nice image there. So if you just want total freehand, you have the control to do it, you can definitely go from this spot. If you need a little more help and guidance, and you're more of a beginner, then that's where this comes in. When I printed these, I always print them out the same size, so that way everything works together. Oh yeah, Brian, I saw you paid off your student loans. That's awesome. Congratulations on that. It's going to feel good to get that off your back. Think of all the airbrush stuff you can buy now. Or does it only work out? Let's see, what was your first question? Can you draw, transfer on top of? Oh yeah, yeah. What do you mean? Wait a minute. Can you draw / transfer on top of your base coat? Yeah. So this is my base coat, and I just transferred that onto the base coat. So, you know, on the back side, I did the charcoal, or the graphite, and then used it as like carbon paper to transfer the image. Now you can, if you just wanted to like free draw, you could just sketch and draw with a Stabilo or pencil or anything. That's fine as well. So for transfer, that's the best way to do it for transfer. All right, and if you took the screenshot or you go over to the comment, like the posting side of my channel, where you can get the posts, there's the image is over there, so you can just screenshot it from there, or message me on social media. Where's my social media? There we go. If you want to message me on any of the social medias, I can email you this image or just send it in chat, so it's a little bit easier. I did vector it, so you could actually plot it, but I'm not going to go through that tonight because I didn't have time to test it. But if you want the vector, I can just send it as is, and it'll work great. I didn't have time to put it up on the store. Like I said, if you're completely confident, you could just go right to freehand. You don't have to do this step. This is more, you're still kind of getting your bearings on shading and how airbrush control works. So you could keep it simple and do a nice simple transfer and use a stencil like this. And I'm just cutting out wherever it's black. Okay. These are a little tricky here. These little guys you don't have to be too nuts about. I'm not even going to cut these lines. I'm just going to cut the kind of shape out like this. Actually, what you could do, if you really wanted to make it simple, just do this. Cut right across like this. And you can literally just have the whole silhouette. Let's do the forehead right here. We're not even going to have this in the drawing. Going to make it simple for tonight. Whoa. Because that's all you really need there, because you'll be able to shade off that. Placement for the ear. If I'm missing your comments, sorry. Well, that's going to happen. I've started over many a job. Yeah, I have a Discord set up, but I haven't like set it up. And I've been toying with the idea of doing that. It's so much time that I may do it because set it up for the Down Dirty Tricksters, and I am going to be setting up higher tier features for members, but I'll probably do that over on Patreon because it doesn't work as good on YouTube right now unless they change a few things. And then I'll get a little bit more active on that. It's just the time. Especially I came into this time of year. We'll see him as next week. This feed almost didn't happen because I didn't have any idea what to do until this afternoon. No, not Sally. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Discord, I like Discord better. I mean, it's just Facebook groups that are limited, you know, but I have so many followers that monitor over on social media between Instagram and Facebook that to tack another one, keep track of, just don't have the time. Now, if someone down Dirty Trickster is really good at it, wants to help with that setup, maybe we could do something like that, where I get some help. Well, yeah, that works. But if I get enough followers and more people following, I could always spend more time doing more different stuff. So you never know. Well, it'll be monochromatic, but it'll have the red. I mean, the only really addition is the red, the yellow, and the eye. So I have mixed up those colors, so it'll have a little bit of color in it. There we go. Foreheads here. I'm just gonna do the old pick here. Instead of cutting, because it's better. It'll be like pores. Oh, Sally was on the roster for tonight, and I thought about that. I just didn't have the time to really do one justice. This one worked out. So, nice, simple stencil. And this should line up to this rather nicely. So, let's see how it works. So, if I just have the stencil, so if you just decide to cut out with the stencil, and I don't have, where's my big magnets? Ah, here we go. What size are you running in your Eclipse B? The Eclipse, oh, like the Micron? The SB? That's a standard 0.35. Yeah, no, this is just a standard Takumi size. But let's bring out for the light black. So, I'll talk about the colors I did mix up for tonight. I know it's not going to look like that when it's done, but that pointy ear is triggering me. Yeah, well, that's the hair. The hair goes here. So we have, for colors, opaque white. I have an illustration violet. This is illustration red, chrome yellow. This is a black cut with transparent base and a hint of the purple in it. And then this is a transparent white. It's the opaque white cut in half with transparent base and a drop of purple, just a drop of purple. Yeah, HPCS is the Eclipse. It's 0.35. Yep, it's factory size. All right, so I'm going to take my black here. Now, these are red, so actually, what I should do, let's do this. Because I know there's going to be some reds. Let's put the red in first, actually. Really carefully. Really carefully. I'm going to just slide this over. I'm just going to put a little red for registration purposes. Just a little bit here, where the nose is. The lip, I'm just going to come down like this. A little bit across the top. I'm not going to put a lot. This is just for the placement when I freehand, okay? It's really subtle. I'm just putting in a tiny bit. Let me know what's happening. So now I should be able to. And the reason I did that is so we can define this lip a little better. So now the black will go here, here. Those we're just going to put in the eye sockets. Really light. I was talking to a friend of mine today about people learning airbrushing and using stencils. And I have a stencil idea I want to come out with soon for everyone. It's new expansion on my skulls. And I am considering doing them in a coated paper like the texture effects. And the reason being is they work better coated paper because the way I'm designing them, they're going to have folds. And I've tried to do them with Mylar and they cut fine, but they don't do the fold method as well. And so I'll explain when I get a little closer, but yeah. It doesn't matter if you're on plastic. Once you put a base color down, you're on paint, so it doesn't really matter. Maltos are good. I like the Posca paint markers better than Maltos, but the Maltos work just fine. Not crazy about the results I'm getting with... What do you mean with high flow, as far as high flow? I try my Wicked Gray text for the first time. On paper and plastic, it really shouldn't matter too much. Like I said. And there's, remember, you got Wicked Createx, which is a little bit more transparent, and then opaque. So there's a Createx White. Oh, yeah, the High Flow Golden. Yeah, the High Flow Golden is more for illustrations. It's not for hard surfaces, really, as much. Not traditionally, from my experience. So remember, you have Createx Wicked White, which is white, but it's semi-transparent. Then you have opaque white, which is super white, which is what I'm using here tonight. Okay, so if you have trouble registering freehand, that's a nice way to start. I've used no freehand at all. That's just from using the stencils. All right, so what I'm going to do, I want to define this red a little more. Trying to get it in so I know where the makeup is. So if you see what I'm doing here, I'm going to zoom in a little more. I wonder if I can get this brighter. Let's see. Now this one's too bright. That's the thing about messing with cameras. Multiple camera angles requires... There we go. That's a little better. So I want to be able to switch to this one. So see what I'm doing? I'm coming into here. And I wish I brought the photo reference up, but I know based on anatomy that it's going to be darker down here, because that's in the shadows. I'm going to get this makeup a little brighter. I'm going to come into the eye a little more. Let's see, a single little flame. Yeah, I'm not going to add flame to the skull. There's enough going on here. But that's something that can always be added. Let's let the makeup kind of come into the socket a little bit. Because remember, it's not a hole. make this a little thicker. So if you notice my registration is a little off where my line is, that's fine, because I'm going to correct it freehand. Just go in. This isn't my final red, that's why I'm not caking it in. Same thing, so the lips, obviously they're going to be darker down the bottom as I come in to here. And I'm just slowly going in, kind of working that mouth. I'm going to switch back to this one. Man, I wish. So I can tell you, the last time I painted an It was Tim Curry's It. And I think I know where it is. Bear with me for 2 seconds. I'm going to see if I can find this. What I'm trying to find is my old original photo album from a long, long time ago. I thought it was accessible. Apparently not. I thought it was in here. Because I had my original, when I first started airbrushing, my book that had a lot of stuff in it. Must not be. Got one more shot. Nope. I was gonna see if I could find it and show you the comparison from what a Pennywise for me looked like in the early 90s to now, but don't have it. I swore I had it. Oh well, must not. Sorry guys, because that would have been cool. Yeah, this kind of painting is fun to do because you can, you know, I'm not trying to be overly realistic with it. You know what I mean? And it's just kind of fun, campy. Okay. We'll go in. I think his eyes are more red on the edge. And they have orange inside. So I'll do a little blend. And plus, with, I don't know if you've watched Welcome to Derry, but if you haven't on HBO, I watched it the other night. Ooh, it's good. I dig it. Paint some deadlights, yeah. Post it late. Yeah, man, I don't know where I put that book. Now it's really bugging me because I thought it was in, I could have sworn it was in there. It's not, man. It's a big photo album, so I can't really miss it. Yeah. That's bumming me out. Oh well. Sorry. Sorry to sidetrack. Yeah, like I said, I only watched the first episode and they didn't hold back. So if you watched it, I'm just gonna say, like, if you never watched birthing videos, when you, you did now. Like I said, I can add plenty more red as I go. But this is just a nice established... Yeah. But see how all I've done so far is I've kept it simple. All right, let's get some white. Let's get some texture in here. This is a great time to use like texture effect stencils like this, because you can really put a lot of like, you can do a lot of early texture in the forehead. Oh, I gotta So right now I'm gonna focus on getting my paint to, I think I might have it mixed a little too thick. Yeah, I'm gonna thin the paint just a hair more because I got it mixed for like some high coverage. Is this a top down? Yeah, pretty much. It's a standard light. Like if I was bringing a side light into it, you could add a little, like if you wanted to do like, I'm gonna probably put a little purple into the side, and I'll explain what I'm doing, how and when. But essentially, yeah, it's a top down. Oh, and this isn't even still the pure white. This still has a little bit of the gray. There we go. If you heard that pitch change, I often listen for that. The paint came out and started to come out a little smoother. So remember, this still has a little bit of black in it. I am really going from memory what this photo looks like, because I probably should have printed a reference. But I'm just going to wing it and see. So, but I understand your basic light sourcing, so I know we're going to have a heavy top light up here, because it is, primarily top down. This is the skull side, so I'm going to get the nose bridge kind of set in. And this cheek is going to take a heavy light source here. Remember I said I wasn't worried about all the red in here yet, because I'm just using it as a guide. I know the light's coming down and hitting that cheekbone really heavy. Or at least it should be. Like I said, I'm not looking at a photo. But when you start understanding how light reacts and faces work, you can wing a lot, which is sometimes a curse, because you think you know everything is, and you start painting what you think's there instead of what's there. So could be, sometimes you think you're painting what's there and it's really not. And I know the eye should be nice and bright here. And then you have an eyelid. And some wrinkles in here. But I'm keeping it loose. This is still loose. Don't think of the dark to light, because, loose to tight, meaning in this contest, I'm keeping everything kind of soft shaded right now, preliminary. Um, you know, not. I want to chisel my details in after, but for right now, I want to keep everything kind of soft. I want that nose to still catch light. The nostril kind of flare. You're still going to catch some light. Honestly, I think if I'm looking back, props here, thank you so much. If you look back, the Pennywise might be one of my first portraits I ever actually, or what was considered a portrait to me, because you remember I got the first book of Pennywise, of Tim Curry's It, and I painted it a lot. So a lot of light coming in here. So we get a lot going on. And that little bit of texture. Actually, this is I think this is one of Tommy Ham's. This would be good for a little skin texture here. Could even put some. I wonder if I have. Ooh, these would be good. This is Drew Blair's micro dots. You can actually put like skin pores in. You probably can't see them, but you can actually see the pores. We'll try to mess with those a little bit. But look, I can come into here like this and put a little skin texture in, soften it away. Again, I'm not going for photorealism here, but I'm using some of the tricks and techniques to give that kind of stylized realism something to work with. Okay, so here's the cheek. And just like under here would be the cheekbone, so it can stay a little darker under there. If you switch camera angles here, you can see. This is going to be kind of cool. Especially when you do this. Hold on. So when you see that hanging on your wall, that's going to be cool. I'm obsessed with the stencil you made. Which stencil? The one for the fins of the koi. I wish I could have brought that up here tonight, but it's still curing. I hear you next month. The hunting season for me. Yep. When are you going? Oh, sorry. You know, I wish YouTube kind of had what like Zoom does. So if you want to like ask someone privately a question, you can. No, it'd be cool. So like I said, this side's going to be more bone like skull, but I can still come into the socket a little bit. Because it's still going to have like some flesh in there. And this one's going to be the teeth of the skull. So let's define each tooth really bright. So just doing little dagger strokes, soft with the teeth they're going to be on this side. Because you're going to see all the teeth. And then we got the lower teeth down here. So if you know anyone who hates clowns, share this video to them right now. Actually share this to my brother Todd. And this will be the bony jaw coming down. It'll be a little sharper on this side. Smooth on this side because that's got skin. This side will be sharper. But this one comes together pretty quick, actually. And the hair, we'll just put a little... For the ear, there's kind of a lobe here. And this right here, this is where like the frill starts, like the you know, the clown outfit, the soft kind of clothing. But notice I'm still keeping things relatively soft. But you're starting to lose the pencil lines. Okay, that's kind of what's happening here. Is I'm soft shading, but I'm not using... This is opaque, but I'm not flooding it on there. Even opaque, you can usually get like 2 passes, maybe 3 before it goes to full coverage. You don't ever really want it full in the first pass in most cases. But this way, you can see I've softened up the majority of those pencil lines, but I still know where they are. Because I've kind of worked them in, and I've shaded right to the edge. But you don't really see them. If you were to just walk up this painting, you really wouldn't see them. But you can now. Like if you were here, you'd be able to see them. So this hair here, and this is kind of where the outfit kind of starts. So I'm just going to put a few in. So you could do the eraser here. You'd get the opposite because you're on a black panel. Let me show you what that would do. So now, and you can use it. So look, you're going to get dark lines, which you can use. If I do a scratch, I'm going to go all the way to the black, which also could be useful. So like in here, I could do this. And you could get a hair effect. But remember, this is a black panel, so you're not going to get the white highlights. Thank you for that. I am not recognizing the N1GHTBR33D because it's doing that thing again where it's putting people's like hashtag types and not their screen name. So I apologize if I'm not recognizing. But thank you for doing that. So I think this hair up here, and then this right here is where the kind of frills start. Mike Manning. Thank you, Mike. But you see, like, in an hour, you've got a good portion of everything kind of laid in and done. And just to recap, for those who join late, if you go to the comment section of the channel, you can get the actual simple stencil and just cut it out. So what I did is I made sure I size them the same. And if anyone wants it, I can email you the file. Just go on my socials and message me, and I'll send you the vector for this. These line up to each other. So I did my image transfer, the traditional paper transfer. If you're just freehanding, you'd be done. You wouldn't have to do anything. But if you need a little help registration, especially for the red, the stencil lines right up. And plus, if you wanted to do one way and one the other, you totally could. Okay, we'll leave that here so people can just see it. So now I want to get some lighting in. So this is a good time. Oh, before I do that. So this was that red. I can come back in. Look, I can put the harsher red back in now. And I could even... like, I could even put this back. If you're not confident, you could put these back like this. If you want to keep it crisper. Look, I can spray a little heavier. Especially up here. See what I mean? Just to get them a little bit more red. But because I'm trying to make this like makeup, I'm not just solid filling it red. I'm putting some lines and streaks in it. Gotta love the magnet trick. And this is aluminum, but there's enough steel here that these neodymiums, that these will go through, see? And hold it in place. What I'm going to do is I'm going to dump this red out. I love it. I need to get a second one for my shop. Now, I was actually talking with Dave at Coast, and I've talked with Dell about this, and they're going to make another system, not another system really, but basically the option for a longer lower rail so you can make a wider one. Because I'd like one, I want one that's like 24 inches by like 18 this way, so, which I think would be awesome. All right, so I'm going to take my golden yellow here. Let's put this in those eyes. Now, if I could find some crazy... What do you mean, Acme panels? What's AC? ACM panels. What's ACM? Alright, so now, before I start going into shading, remember I said I want to put a little bit of that kind of fantasy lighting? I'll do a little bit of that purple. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to did I just drop that? Sorry, guys. Just like I did on Jack, I'm going to come over this side with the purple, because I want this side to be a little bit more in shadow, but I want purple shadow. So I'm just taking a little bit of purple. I'm just going to add a kiss of it to this side. I'm going to switch lights so I think you can see it better from this angle. A little bit of purple on the skull side. Just to give it a little something, we'll put a little under the eye here, like this is catching from this side coming across. So it's going to catch, it won't catch this pupil because it bypassed the nose. This eye socket is going to catch the edge here. Do that just a little bit. Just, it's so subtle. Like, watch. It's hard to get it. Let me see if I can adjust this camera down a little darker so you can see it. Yeah, it's kind of close. You see, I'm saying it's aluminum composite. But these are aluminum composite panels. This here. This is an aluminum composite material. It's aluminum, PVC, then aluminum. But this backing back here is steel. So, like, that's why this paper, it's not sticking to the aluminum composite. I'm sticking to that. But yeah, so this is the same panels I used last week, which I have this double stick tape down, so I can't pull them off. But that's the same polymetal panels we've been using the whole time. Yeah, I'm not sure what gauge this is. It's thick enough. And this is an 1/8 inch panel, so this is 1/8 inch thick. This aluminum, and it still gets through the PVC. Yeah, you can get them on Amazon. You can get it from Coast. You can get it from Spray Gunner. Yeah, this is probably... Nah, this is not quite that thick, but this is heavy enough. This is probably 080. No. That's thicker. Maybe 040. Yeah, it's pretty heavy. I don't think it's 16th, though. Could be. Definitely not 8th. It's probably 32nd. But strong enough. Yeah, the Visionaire, this Visionaire system here. Let me zoom out. This system here, this is aluminum frame, extruded aluminum frame, and it's a steel plate. This is really, really thick. And then this is 1/8 inch. No. This is only less than, it's like a 32nd inch. It's not super thick. And then it's screwed in to this extruded H channel. But if you go on Visionaire's site, let me see, do I have Visionaire's info here? Nope, I don't have Visionaire's. Nope. Where is my social media? Yeah, so if you look second to last, Visionaire, VSION Air. That's where you'd find it. Yep. In the center of this panel, not really. I can push down heavy on it. So, and regardless, I don't know why we're debating it. It's thick enough. You can push on this really heavily. Okay. Yep. I think this. Brian, you could correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's only like about $150 for this unit here. And it's nice. It's got the nice pivot, you know, so you can loosen these up and move it and angle it. Super nice system. It's honestly, out of all the easels I've made for myself over the years, this is my favorite one. I'm not thinking of not being helpful. Just you can push on this center in this size frame, and it's not going to bend on you. If I was to do a 24-inch on this aluminum extrusion, I would put a center beam in. All right, let's get some. Oh, before I get the detail, what I want to do, I want to get a little orange on the hair. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this. I'm going to take the yellow. I'm going to take here. Yeah, about 150 bucks. Yeah, it's great. And the coating on it's really durable. It holds up to lacquer. It holds up to everything. So I think I think they're either using. I think they use a ceramic coat. It's not a powder coat. I think it's a ceramic coat on these. I could be wrong. I forget, but these it's really held up well. So I'm going to do kind of that yellow mixed with a little red. We're just going to put a little bit of that tone up in here. Over here. I don't quite remember how far it goes down. I'm going to say like right to there. And I'm going to use the stencil to kind of keep it there. And then the head. Yeah, and then I have the rest of the system all around the studio, but this is one of the best bang for the buck too. I gotta get another one for like the shop because I have one of the old wooden easel things for out there, and I hate it. Like I was doing the koi painting, and I was using that, and it was driving me crazy. There we go. Not too shabby for an hour. All right, so now let's start getting in some detail. I'm going to take that black. I'm going to add a little bit more purple to it. And I'm going to reduce it just a little more. Yeah, no, I have to either stand or be in like a taller upright position for where I paint. Like I'm on my bench is high. I'm in basically more of a high stool type, so it gives me more freedom of upper body movement. Okay. Just trying to get the paint thin because I reduced a little more. I'm waiting for that reducer to come through. Okay, so if you wanted to put stencils back, you could. There we go. So if you wanted to go and do this, so now watch, I can come in here, and I could come off here, and I could shade right off like this. Now, what adjustment do you have to make? What adjustment do you make for your paint? It's kind of spotty, meaning like it's coming out like. So usually, what I just did, because that's what it was doing initially, because it was for coverage. I just added about another 5. I usually add in like 5% reductions. I do 5 or 10. Give it a good shake, work it through, and then see. I usually do reduction first, and if I got it thin enough, but it's like pushing out on me, then I'll play with the air. Like right now I'm at 20, almost 30. Like I go down a little bit, and I can see. So now what I'm noticing, the pressure isn't high enough to push the paint as fast as I want to come out. So it's almost like when I pull the trigger, See, watch. So you pull the trigger, it's like a delay before it comes out. See how it's still. Watch my finger and then the paint. Finger, then paint. It's coming out. So, see, I get that delay, and I want to be more reactionary. So now I'm going to go up to like 30. So now you should be able to watch. See that difference? I can, almost as soon as I pull the trigger, I'm getting paint. That's why I'm so adamant with people. The first thing everyone always asks all the time is, what's your air pressure? If people focus so much on it. And I know it's easy to focus on, but it's a balance of flow, air pressure to paint. Like, there we go, right there. Now I'm getting a nice soft, like, trigger paint, and I'm getting it right off the bat. And I can step back and I can do a nice subtle fade, or I can come in really close and I can get really nice tight lines. Okay, that's kind of what I'm looking for. So now when I come into like stuff like this, and I can start coming in and doing these lines relatively easy. So I'm going to start the skull side. Let's do this. And if I find it's a little bit delayed, it could be paint, it could be the brush. Once you get down to little details, so many little things affect it. Like, I know this needle's got a little hook in it, so it's going to cause a little bit of problem. But yeah, I always do like a reduction change test, and then I mess with air. Because air can be, you can get a lot of different results at different air pressures. Sometimes it just, you can compensate for speed, like, meaning if your air is too low, you can slow your motion down. So my air is too low, watch. So I got it pretty fast. Now if I go really high on the pressure, like now I'm at 40, now see it's blowing out. But if it's blown out, I just got to move faster. And I can get those same lines. But I got to move fast. If I move slow, it blows out. Now if I'm low pressure down to 20, now I can move slower and get lines. See, I can move slow, but see it's skipping. I don't know if you can see how it's. I'm going to go right here. Watch it sputter a little bit. It's got a little skip in it right there, and that's because the air pressure is a little low for the viscosity of the paint. Now, if that's an air pressure you want to work at, then you got to thin the paint a little more to keep that skipping. How do you feel about Mac valves? Guy talking about buying the Mobius 0.2 because I like Mac valves. They work great. They're not needed. They don't help you other than it's just a quick way to adjust your air here instead of on your bench. Okay. The only reason I don't recommend, especially beginners or intermediate painters, to go with a Micron or a Mobius or any of those off brands that try to be a Micron is a 0.2 Micron or the copies or the clones are too small for the average painter to use because you can't use heavy paints through that very well. 0.18, 0.2, 0.23, you have to be down to ink. What I like, the reason I stay with like an HPC Plus or an Eclipse range, now you're in the 0.3, 0.35. You can run thicker paint or thin paints and still get detail. Whereas the 0.2 struggle. But everyone's got to, you know, it's been talked in everyone's head that you need detail, you need to have a 0.20 or micron. It's really not the case. Like, even the people at Iwata would rather you not buy a micron or that until you're ready. Like, I've had conversations with them about recommending, and, you know, you're really better off starting in the 0.30, 0.35 range. Just remember, everything's a balance. But there's nothing wrong with Mac valves. I like them. I just don't buy a gun just for it. And you can get Mac valves that go here, little adjustment ones. Do I have one here? I don't have it plugged in. Oh, yeah. For any airbrush, you can just get one of these. This is by Grex. And I know I'm not a Grex user, but I do love this. This is their Mac valve and quick connect. So basically, it's a normal quick connect already built in and the Mac valve to one unit. So you can adjust right here. It does make your stem a little longer, but these are great. And that way, it doesn't matter if your airbrush has a Mac valve because you have one right here. And it does the same thing. A Mac valve is just a bleeder valve. It's just a needle valve. This brush is being finicky because it's got a hook in the needle. And I am not going on to a second night painting this. This is going to be a one-nighter because I am in Vegas next week for SEMA, so there will be no live feed next week. Yeah, the Eclipse is just a great all-around workhorse gun. It just always has been. I've been using them since the late 80s, 90s. Okay, so now I'm on my Micron. And my paint is thinned for it. And there's no bend in this needle. So now I'm getting good results right off the bat. I could probably actually thin my paint a little more. And this is kind of like the frills of the suit there. Well, the extra 0.30 bits for the Morbius and the 0.35, 0.50. See, the problem with those brushes is when you start having to change like needle, nozzle, and everything, 0.3, 0.35, because realistically, when you change from 0.35, it should be the needle, nozzle, and air cap to change, or you're not really changing it. You know, and the problem, again, and I'm not saying, I try to use the word knockoff, but the clones like the GH and the, even the Creos and especially the Gerald, the Galleria, whatever it's called, their brushes have a lot of issues, but they throw a lot of extras to get you to buy the brush, whereas you really don't need all that. If the brush is made as a 0.3, it doesn't need to keep changing because the body and everything's tuned well to work within that size range. So, but it's so confusing for you guys now because there's just so many options and the pricing is, you know, it's like, oh, that I wanted $700 or $400 and I can get this one for $250 and it's a 0.20. You know, but it's just the way it's made. They'll get you by. So now I'm going to just use the stencil here just to get that crisper. So that hair goes in. Get that crazy pupil right there. So I have the paint thin enough where I can do thin lines like in here, right? And I can back off and I can do nice shading like here. That's the sweet spot. Just look, I can come in and I can move and I can do nice little lines. And I can come back from a distance and do a nice blend shade like that. That's the sweet spot for me, is when the paint can do that. So you get in close, do that nice line like that, see? And I can back off, and I can shade that line, all with one brush. See that line to shade. So I can shade that red underneath, shadow that nose, get in that nostril. And I can blend right underneath, and I can coarse shadow everything. So more thinning equals more detailed. Yeah, yes. So, right, more thin, you're not going for coverage anymore. And what you have to do is, some opaque paints, the pigment, let me go on camera for this. So, it's not that the paints aren't great. Opaque, so my opaque white and heavy opaque black for coverage, like t-shirt black coverage, even if you reduce it down really thin, to keep it opaque for coverage, it uses a very, large wouldn't be the right term, but a very robust pigment. So it covers really good. So you can only thin it down so much before the raw pigment size doesn't thin anymore. See what I mean? So that's why you have, like Createx, you have Createx, Createx black, and then opaque black, and you have Createx white and Createx opaque white. The opaque is your coverage stuff, and you can only thin that so much, and you're not ever going to get it to super fades before it starts to break or it's grainy, because the pigments can only be reduced down so much. When you get into the detail colors, detail ones will usually give you heavy black lines, after a few passes, but the pigment's finer grained. So it can go down, it can be reduced smaller to like ink, like water, and flow through like a micron. So it's not that the paint isn't great, it's like that color you're using might not be achievable super low. But thinning definitely gives you more detail control, and yet, in fact, you'll lose coverage. But you can also play with air pressures for that. So in our t-shirt days, we use heavy, heavy opaque paints at really high pressure. So we're at 60 to 80 psi out of a 0.30, and because we're ramming that paint through at 60 to 80 psi, we're getting micron-like lines on t-shirts and walls. On metal, you'd probably get blowouts unless you move really fast, but we're compensating for speed and movement control. So that's what I mean. The chart, no one's ever made one really well. It'd be a nice chart, viscosity to pressure and speed, because those three affect everything the most. Viscosity, pressure, speed. Those are your three factors. And then to get technical, now your paint viscosity, meaning pigment, will change it versus egg dye. There's a lot. Are you prepping that plastic before you're painting? This isn't plastic. This is metal. This is aluminum, but it has a PVC core. There's a plastic core, but it's aluminum on both sides. So you're on-coated aluminum, and this is already black coated. So you're just scuffing with 600, and you're fine. If it was black plastic, then I would scuff it. Usually I would adhesion remote it and then prime it, or put a sealer and a base color on it. Yeah, but the biggest thing about plastic is, if it's plastic, most paints don't go direct to plastic. A lot of them does. The Wicked colors do. Wicked opaques will go straight to most plastics. I think I was using Wicked opaque orange earlier, and the instruction said to add gloss clear for plastics. So, yeah, so when you put their 4050 gloss clear, 4050 is a direct to surface clear binder, so it'll make the Wicked opaques bite more to plastics because it makes it stickier. So, yeah. So see, I'm nice and thin, and I can kind of do some of these pock marks here, these kind of bumps in the face. I guess I didn't need to add the gloss here because I was spraying over paint. You don't need to, but the gloss clear is a stickier binder. And it can also be a better flow enhancement, and it can make the pigment load a little bit easier to get through the gun. Especially if you reduce the paint a lot to thin it through that 0.2, because that 0.2 you're gonna have a hard time getting opaque colors through that 0.2 consistently without. Okay, I gotta get a little headway down here. So I want this side to be more skull-like. So that's why I'm staying a little tighter, a little bit harsher in here. It's coming up into this, so you're kind of separating that. Kind of jawbone coming down like this. Remember I said here's kind of seeing the bone of the skull a little bit more. And then we're going into the soft shading on this side here. But notice how this, see this, that black I'm using here? See how purple it really is when I go from a distance? And this is not opaque black to start. This is a detail black mixed with some of the illustration violet. So that pigment load stays nice and soft, so you can achieve nice blends and stuff like that. And I can't believe tomorrow's Halloween and SEMA and whew. Okay, let's get these teeth knocked in now. So this is where a little freehand control is definitely going to come into play for these guys here. Coming under that lip. Oh, thank you, Gary, sir. Give me some spending money for SEMA. Nope, no one else has put a bid in on this yet. Thank you, Gary. Appreciate that, sir. Have a good one. Just doing shaded here, darken that eye up, put that in shadow a little more, get that nose. Whenever you're doing the skull, it's a balance between keeping facial features recognizable and then where like skull bones and stuff kind of come into play. So like I'm trying to keep the nose bridge visible and the end here. Efren, I think it's on your end because no one's complained about sound yet, I don't think. Sound's going through on my side. Should be on everywhere else's. If anyone else is not getting sound, please let me know. So I'm just winging some extra shading. We're getting to the tail end where it's going to come in to like highlights. Let's see what it looks like framed. What about that? What about that? Oops. Ah, yeah. That's gonna look creepy as shit hanging on someone's wall. This would be cool to actually put glass over. Man, if this had a dome, would it be really cool if this had a dome and you put like mirror finish on it, like aged it around the edge, or if you put glass on this and like aged it with a little silver, so it's like he's looking through the mirror at you. It would be awesome. Anyone else having a sound issue? Oh, okay, good. Efren, it's you, man. Darren, I'm glad you suggested this. Was a fun project. I'm really digging the way this one's coming out. If Gary did, if no one bid on this, then I was just going to give it to my brother, which he would throw it out immediately because he's petrified of it. Not petrified. He just does not like them. Now you can hear me. Where is my... Ah. Alright, so I'm going to use some of this reddish orange here in the hair. So I mix the yellow and orange together because I want to get that hair not like red. Those eyes are more orangey red. Alright, now we're going to go red. Then finish this thing off with some details. Thank you, I appreciate that. This just came up on a whim, like 2 hours before the feed, after a suggestion. Because at 5 o'clock, I had no clue what I was painting tonight. I actually started the feed by announcing it as I don't know what I'm going to paint. And that was after I did finish that koi piece today. Alright, so now I'm going pure red. I want to really dial this makeup in bright now. Now going for final highlights and darks. But again, so this is that example of how much for a painting, how much you want to spend. Because I could do this in 2 hours, or I could spend 20 hours on this piece and make every pore and every skin and every crackle look real. Or I can have fun with it, make it simple in 2 or 3 hours, and give you a piece that you might like. That's why budget makes a difference when it comes to paint. So never be afraid to ask customers what their budget is. Just, you're not trying to like find out how much they're willing to spend. You explain to them, look, I can do that same image from a price range of $300 to $3,000. Okay? It just comes down to all the little nuanced details. Like, do you want to see every skin pore? Every light glint? Do you want it to look photorealistic? Or do you want it to be a little cartoon or a little bit more stylized, realism, and fun? Somewhere in between. Where do you want to be? And you can meet that customer where they need to be budget-wise. And just have some fun with it. You know? And that's the way you kind of explain it to customers. Yeah, he is getting creepy. Definitely getting creepy. Like, you could spend... I know guys that are so photorealistic, they'll spend 2 hours on this part of the hair. They'll spend an hour or two on each eye. And if the customer values that, then do it. But if you can get something that someone's happy with in 2 hours, missed the first 25 minutes. Did you draw first or stencil? Well, you have to go back and watch. No. So what I did, I'll give you just a quick recap. This is the black panel. I took a gray and I misted the whole thing in gray, like light. Then I took my pencil sketch here and I did my standard transfer where I transfer the image. onto it so you can see it. And at that point, if you wanted to go full freehand, you could have just went full freehand. But if you're not comfortable and you want a little extra registration, that's where the stencil comes in if you want to cut it. Because that can go right in. So like even watch now, if I wanted to make, say I wanted to watch, if I want to get the red up on the, if I wanted to make the makeup edge look a little bit more solid there, watch what I can do because of the stencil. I can come in like this. I can take the red. And look, I can just hit really heavy right there. And I just made it a little crisper. See how that little... So using a mix... Using a mix is always best, in my opinion. But that's all downloadable too, so you can just print this out and work with it. I really suck at ears if I don't have the picture to look at, so I'm just kind of winging it on that ear. Don't hold against me too much. But I think we're at a good point for highlighting now. So this is a little too strong, I think. Let's see. If I can get the highlight right in this eye. Nope. See, it's delaying on me. But see what that did? A well-placed highlight, man. A well-placed highlight can really make a difference. So now watch. So see what that little glint did? Here, I'll put a little bit more in the eye here. See how that just woke up the eye? Now watch what it does here. Glint. Boring. Or sinister. It's all in that glint. Now watch, I'm going to do it here too. We'll start with a little bit here. Starting to go that eye. Now watch when I put the glint in there. See that difference? That's like the magic difference right there. Well-placed highlight in the nose. A little bit up here. You know what? I want to go... I want my paint a little heavier. I want to go up to my... I'm going to say mine would have ended up on the eyebrows. It just takes practice, man. But notice how slow I went before I pulled that trigger. I got into position. So I'm going to get this cheek. A little bit brighter. I'll come across that makeup. We'll get up in here. Start getting these guys a little bit more. Get this eyebrow. Just going in. Mike Manning, thank you, sir. It's a lot brighter up there. Get that chin. Yeah. A little bit under that lip. Get these teeth. It is, man. It is practice. And I've been doing this 35 years, and you still gotta. I'll go through sometimes weeks where I don't paint a lot, like freehand, and then, man, I gotta train back in. I gotta work back into it. Get a little quick texture here. Get that like clown makeup-y look. Thanks to Gerald Mendez's details. Put a little here, put a little cheek. Man, I might do a. Maybe I'll do a more planned out version of this at SEMA next week, just to make everyone squirm a little bit. Think I should? Think I should do one of these at SEMA? When I'm at the Iwata booth? I know it's after Halloween, but it still could be fun. I could plan it out a little bit more. How many of you guys think I should do it at SEMA? That side view shot. It looks creepier from the side because it's a little darker. Then we put it in the frame. Yeah. That looks pretty cool. It's a fun one. And that was a solid 2 hours. Like I said, I could do another hour on this easy. I could mess around. Do more in here in the clothes. If you haven't watched the Welcome to Derry show, definitely. Yeah, I think it's going to be worth a watch. The weather bubble glass mirror for it. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Well, if someone wants to do that, right now Gary's got the high bid on it, so if Gary wants that, he can definitely figure that out. Darken up those sides a little bit. Actually, there is. Really hard to see in the lighting, but there's a red dry brush effect on the frame. Maybe I'll do a little more. See it? It's got that little bit of red aging. I can add. I'll probably add a little more though, because I think it needs it. Or maybe I'll make this. I'll add more aging red around this edge, because I think that really, the framing really works good. I think it needs just a little bit more of a purple shade. Up on top here, a little bit more purple. Maybe what we'll do right now, Gary, we'll do a little. I'm going to take the red just from here. We'll downlight it. Some red. Let's see how that looks. Just a little extra red. Yeah, look at that. Look at that, Gary. A little extra red there, a little tint. You can just see it. I think that works pretty good, guys. What do you think? Think that was a fun 2-hour project? I think so. I think that was good. Yeah, I dig it. I think I need a little more shading in there. Oh, that's still white. Let's go a little black. I'm going to bed. Long day. There we go. Totally works. That was a fun project. I had a good time doing that. As I said, I haven't done a Pennywise probably since the 90s. First time I've done Skarsgård's version. So it was fun to do. I'm really glad I did it. Let's slide that over a little bit there. There we go. Yeah, that's cool. I dig it. Like I said, if you need that image, you can message me. You can just screenshot it pretty easy from the thumbnail image or something like that. I already put it on my my Facebook page. So yeah, it's all good. So thank you guys for tuning in on this Halloween, pre-Halloween Eve special. Hope everyone has a happy and safe Halloween. Give the kids the big candy bars. Don't cheap out. It's one night a year. Give them the big candy bars. Be the cool house. I'm going to be the cool house tomorrow. I got it all lit up. Got big bowls of candy. So have a happy and safe Halloween. I'll be in SEMA next week. I'll be posting some videos and pics, so stay tuned from there. I think I'll paint this guy when I'm out there as well. And see you guys a week.